After a long night of making love, Ben rolled over, pulled out a cigarette from his jeans and searched for his lighter. Unable to find it, he asked Penny if she had one at hand. "There might be some matches in the top drawer," she replied. He opened the drawer of the bedside table and found a box of matches sitting neatly on top of a framed picture of another man. Naturally, the guy began to worry. "Is this your husband?" he inquired nervously. "No, silly," she replied, snuggling up to him. "Your boyfriend, then?" he asked. "No, not at all," she said, nibbling away at his ear. "Well, who is he, then?" demanded the bewildered guy. Calmly, Penny replied, "That's me before the operation." Willie Nelson was playing Trigger, his famous guitar that has a large hole in it, for a reporter. The reporter asked him if it was true that he would retire when he made the hole so big he could not play it anymore. "Absolutely," Willie replied. "Just because you make a huge hole in it means retirement." Willie nodded. "Just ask my first 3 wives." So there's a deaf accountant who works for the mafia. One day, the kingpin mafioso is checking out the books and notices there's $1 million missing. He calls a meeting with the deaf accountant and the sign language translator. "Okay, there's $1 million missing. Where is it?" asked the kingpin. Translator says, "There's $1 million missing. Boss wants to know where it is." Deaf man signs over to the translator. "What?" "I have no idea what he's talking about." Translator says to the boss, "Boss." He says he doesn't know what you're talking about. Boss says to the translator, "I'm going to ask one more time. Where is the money?" Translator says to the deaf accountant, "He's asking one more time, where's the money?" Deaf man reiterates to the translator through sign, "Seriously, I don't know what he's talking about." Translator says to the boss, "He says he seriously doesn't know what you're talking about." The boss is now infuriated. He slams his fist down on the table and points a gun to the accountant's head. He tells the translator, "Tell this weasel I will blow his brains all over this desk if he doesn't tell me where the money is right now." Translator signs to the accountant, "Oak, he's dead serious. You better tell him where the money is, or he's going to kill you right here." The deaf accountant signs to the translator, Okay, I'll tell you." "I hid it in a briefcase underneath my deck," mafia boss asks. "Well, what did he say?" The translator says, "Well, boss," he said, "go screw yourself." A policeman catches a man with some weed in his pocket. "You're going to jail for all that marijuana in your pocket," the policeman stated. "But mister, this weed isn't mine. It keeps appearing in my pocket every time I flush it down the toilet," the man replied. "Oh, really? This I gotta see." "If you can prove it, you're free to go," the policeman challenged. The man takes all the marijuana out of his pocket and puts it in the toilet. He then pulls the handle and watches it go down the drain. Several minutes go by and nothing happens. "Well, why hasn't the weed appeared back in your pocket?" the policeman asked. The man innocently replies, "What weed?" A man and a blonde meet in an elevator. "Where are you heading today?" the man asks. "I'm going down to give blood." "How much do you get paid for giving blood?" "About 20. "Wow," says the man. "I'm going up to donate sperm." "And the sperm bank pays 100. The woman angrily gets off the elevator. The next day, the man and woman meet in the elevator again. "Fancy meeting you again. Where you off to today?" "Sperm bank," she says with her mouth full. 100. A week after returning home from Mongolia, a guy wakes one morning to find his dick covered with bright green and purple bumps. Horrified, he immediately goes to see a doctor. The doctor, never having seen anything like it, orders some tests and tells the man to return in 2 days. The man returns in a couple of days and the doctor says, "I've got bad news for you. You've contracted Mongolian VD. It's very rare and almost unheard of here. We know very little about it." The man looks a little perplexed and says, "Well, give me a shot or something and fix me up, doc." The doctor answers, "I'm sorry, there's no known cure. We're going to have to amputate your penis." The man screams in horror, "Absolutely not. I want a second opinion." The doctor replies, "Well, it's your choice. Go ahead if you want, but surgery is your only choice." The next day, the man seeks out a Chinese doctor, figuring that he'll know more about the disease. The Chinese doctor examines his penis and proclaims, "Ah yes, Mongolian VD, Velly-Lair disease." The guy says to the doctor, Yeah, I already know that, but what can you do?" "My doctor wants to operate and amputate my penis." The Chinese doctor shakes his head and laughs. "Stupid English doctor, always want to opalate. Make more money that way." "No need to opalate." "Oh, thank goodness," the man replies. "Yes," says the Chinese doctor, "you no worry. Wait 2 weeks, fall off by itself. You save money." An elderly gentleman went to the local drugstore and asked the pharmacist for the little blue Viagra pill. The pharmacist asked, "How many?" The man replied, "Just a few, maybe a half dozen. I cut each one into 4 pieces." The pharmacist said, "That's too small a dose. That won't get you through sex." The old fellow said, "Oh, I'm past 80 years old and I don't even think about sex much anymore. I just want it to stick out far enough so I don't pee on my new golf shoes." A teenage boy and his grandfather go fishing one day. While fishing, the old man starts talking about how times have changed. The young man picks up on this and starts talking about the various problems and diseases going around. The teen says, "Grandpa, they didn't have a whole lot of problems with all these diseases when you were young, did they?" Grandpa replies, "Nope." The teen says, "Well, what did you guys use for safe sex?" Grandpa replies, "A wedding ring." An old man and his faithful donkey were walking through the vast and scorching desert, feeling the heat beneath their feet with each step. The old man had been traveling for days without seeing any sign of civilization, and he was starting to worry that he might not make it through the harsh terrain. But as luck would have it, he eventually stumbled upon a small village in the middle of the desert. The villagers welcomed him with open arms, offering him food, water, and a place to rest. They also took care of his donkey, providing it with food and water as well. As they sat down for dinner, the old man was surprised when they offered him a glass of camel milk. He had heard that it was notoriously bad tasting, and he couldn't help but ask about it. The villagers explained that they had been cursed with an everlasting drought, and they were saving every drop of water they could find for their crops. They had resorted to drinking camel milk because it was the only source of liquid they had left. The old man smiled knowingly and said, "Truth be told, I am one of the wise. I know how to bring you rain. However, you must first bring me a wide bucket full of water, for I need some to bring more." The next morning, the villagers woke up early to collect every drop of water they still had in reserve. They were determined to get their village out of the drought, and they believed that the old man held the key to their salvation. After collecting all the water they could find, they presented it to the old man. He took the bucket, walked into his host's house, and proceeded to take off his dirty clothes. He even started washing them in the bucket of water. One of the curious kids saw him through the window and ran to alert the other villagers. By the time they arrived, the old man had finished washing his clothes and was calmly hanging them to dry. "Shame on you, old man, for wasting our water when our kids don't have enough to drink," growled the chief of the village. The other villagers joined in. angry that the old man had tricked them into giving him their precious water. But as soon as the chief finished speaking, the sky darkened as the clouds gathered around the village. It started raining, and it did not stop for 5 days straight. The villagers got their fill, and everyone's reserves were overflowing. The old man was treated as a guest of honor and a hero, and the chief apologized profusely for ever doubting him. Only when he was about to leave did the kid gather the courage to ask about how he did it. "It's simple," said the old man with a smile. "This always happens when I hang my clothes to dry."